It is a good morning. So today is the first day of me trading this year, like on TopStep. I just got my account set up and everything. So of course I did take that one demo trade earlier on, but this is the first official trading day of the year for me. I was supposed to wait until tomorrow because it's Monday and I don't usually trade Mondays, but today was just really clear. We had this 15-minute fair value gap over here, and this buy side was taken. So I just woke up to that and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna start a day early because this is just very obvious to me. So buy side was taken, fair value gap right there. And I woke up right around here and I saw this. I really like this pattern. The equal highs swept and then displacement. And then there was this fair value gap. But what actually happened was I didn't buy my TopStep account yet. So by the time I bought it, I'd already missed it and it was like down here. And this was going to be my first take profit. And this was going to be my second take profit. So I missed that. So then I waited, perhaps not so patiently. Also, I'll show you my executions in a second. Um, I waited for this, it went all the way back up here and retapped this fair value gap at open. So what I did was I went to regular trading hours and it looks like this. So you have this fair value gap here, and it went and it tapped that at 9:30. So I was like, okay, we're good to go bearish. There was this 1 minute fair value gap over here, which I entered on, and then I rode it all the way down to this low over here. So my total profit, as you can see in the account, is 51,323. So I made 1.3k today. But let's go through the trade executions because this is mostly a trading journal for myself, not particularly looking to be famous or anything. But if you guys enjoy it and learn from it, that would be nice as well. So this is the first trade I took over here. And I actually won it, but it's break even. So I was looking to short because I'd missed all of this run down over here. I was looking to short into this low and into further lows over here. But this was actually before the open. So potentially I should have waited, but I shorted this fair value gap over here. And as soon as it came back up here, I was like, okay, so maybe it's not that bearish. Trailed my stop to break even, got stopped out for a small profit. I'm okay with that trade. Then over here, I took another trade. This one was actually a loss. I was shorting this fair value gap. So I don't like this wick right here. So maybe I shouldn't have taken this trade. But the low had not yet been swept. Okay, so it was swept. So this was not a really good trade. It was already in discount, and I was trying to short it even more into those lows because my analysis for the day was, okay, it went up here and now it's probably going to go down here because it took all of these equal highs and it's going to want to match the orders by going down to the equal lows. So I was just trying to short it all day. But this is a 15-second chart, so I do have to be careful with where I place my entries. So here I was trying to long it because there was this phantom trend line liquidity over here, and I tried to long it, and it came back into this fair value gap, stopped me out, and then I managed to long it the second time, and I longed it up here into the open, into this fair value gap, which is where I wanted to short. However, I didn't short this because it was right at 9:30. So I do notice that often at 9:30 it overshoots it a little bit. So if I just blindly shorted it over here and put my stop up here, I would have been taken out immediately. So this is what the open looks like on a 15-second chart, and it's quite chaotic. So I usually try to stay out of that. So then what happened was there was this fair value gap over here, which I tried to short. Took a break even on it because it came back up. Tried to short it again, took another break even on it. And then it went all the way back up here to close in the 1 minute fair value gap. So that was over here. So this is where I shorted it the first time. As soon as it went back up in, and then it went down here, didn't quite take the low yet, and then it came back up again, filled it to the tick, and I wasn't actually like ready to short this again because I'd just taken two break evens, so I was waiting for a little bit more displacement because like on a lower time frame, this was showing bullish order flow now. There's a fair value gap here, it was going up here. So I still thought it would go down, but I wasn't ready to enter up here, also because my stop would have to be all the way up here, and that's a lot of risk for me because I like to keep it really tight just in case I make mistakes. You can see I took a few stops, a few break evens, so I like to keep the risk really tight. So yeah, I like to keep the risk really tight, so I wasn't ready to short this over here because when it comes back up like that again, I'm not sure where exactly it's going to go to. Is it just going to barely take that high or not? So then I tried to short this fair value gap over here because we had this phantom trend line, and it wanted to go further into premium. So when I got stopped out over here, so my entry was like right at consequent encroachment of this, and I was expecting this to stay open. This is a balanced price range, so my stop was up here. When I saw this wick, I trailed my stop to the consequent encroachment of this. So then I had like a few contracts on here, so don't worry about like all of the exact order fills and stuff. But I once again, so after this was cleaned up, uh, I looked at this fair value gap because I'm still thinking it's going to go down to match those orders and the equal lows. So I'm looking at this fair value gap, came up here, um, and I shorted it immediately because I was like, okay, this is a big green candle. There were equal highs over here. There's a fair value gap. I'm looking for it to go lower. So I shorted it here. My stop was over here above the candle's high, above this volume imbalance. So I actually took my stop from the 1 minute chart, I think, because this was that same fair value gap. Hold on. Yeah, so 08, 08. Yeah. So this was basically my entry over here, a little bit higher than that on the fair value gap on the 15-second, and my stop was probably somewhere around here, right above this fair value gap candles high. So I didn't get stopped out. I was very patient. Um, I'm quite proud of myself because this fair value gap right here was kind of holding, and in previous potential trades I would have maybe trailed aggressively and been like, okay, if it comes up here then I'm not interested anymore, but I kept my stop up here above this volume imbalance and it was relatively safe. And then we had this big 15-second candle, so it waited, and then boom, it just started going, and that was, yeah, potentially a little bit shocking to me. It held this for a second. I didn't draw my stop. I left everything as it was. Fair value gap formed. Boom. Institutional order flow entry drill. And then I took off my first contract. So I'm trading two contracts on a 50K TopStep combine. I took off my first contract below this low, just in case we getting paid. And then the final take profit for me was right here, which was below the lows on the 5 minute. So right there is where can I show this? Okay, you know what? We're gonna draw a line right there, and that was at these equal lows and stuff. So yeah, that is day one of me trading TopStep. Two contracts on all of my trades, keeping the risk really tight because two contracts is quite a lot of leverage. But I am trading a 15-second chart, so it's not as much as you think. My risk on most of my trades is like 1 to 300, something like that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.